Hey guys, it's Core Ross and World 6 News. Today we're taking a deep dive into Rank 2.0 data that has been released by R6 Tracker, and I recommend you go and follow them on Twitter because you can get a lot of really good information from here. So first of all, we'll begin with the infographic they released last week. And this showed a breakdown of the champions on all platforms at the end of Brutal Swarm, so that was the season without Rank 2.0, that was the old system, and then at the end of Solar Raid, which of course was the first season with Rank 2.0. And the breakdown is, in the old system, during Brutal Swarm, there was 1,300 champions on PC, 1,700 champions on Xbox, and 2,500 on PlayStation. This is actually also a good representation of the entire player base for each platform as well. And then on the new system, it went up to 13,000 on PC, 17,000 on Xbox, and 20,000 on PlayStation. So roughly a 10x increase overall with the amount of champions from the previous system to the new system. Now, a lot of people have been raging about this because, of course, it seems like huge numbers. So you're kind of thinking like, what is it? 1% of the player base went from champions last time to maybe 10% this time, or is it even higher? So let's move on to the next graphic. And this one's a breakdown of all the ranks for all platforms. So champions make up of the player base of Rainbow Six Siege that is playing ranked. They make up 1.7%. And that's at the very end of the Solar Raid season. You can also see that the lowest rank is 13%, and that's the people who just probably came in, played ranked for maybe a few matches and went, nah, this is not for me, and jumped out. And we can also see that the majority of players, more than half of the player base, is below Platinum at the end of the previous season, with a huge amount actually in Copper, Bronze, and Silver, quite evenly distributed as well. And then there's a big change once you're into Platinum, as it changes from a relatively flat number between all the different ranks into a steady decrease that goes all the way up to the end of Diamond. You can also see that the first rank of each one, so the first one of Platinum, the first one of Emerald, the first one of Diamond, all have more players in it. So I assume what has happened is they rank up, maybe hit Emerald and say, that's my target, I'm going to stop then, and probably actually do stop playing ranked after that. You can also see that in Diamond. The first Diamond has more players in it, probably because they got there and went, yep, this is good enough, and stopped. And with Champion only having one rank to attain, you can see that it's a bit higher on this. But in total for Diamond, the entirety of that Diamond section is 2.17%. So not quite double the amount of champions, but it's a very interesting thing to look at. And then let's move into the conclusion for this video. So first of all, this gives us actually a really good rundown of the size of the entire Rainbow Six Siege active player base in the ranked playlist. And you could definitely do the calculations here to roughly figure out the entire player base that is playing ranked. Of course, that is kept quite secret by Ubisoft because we got the Steam numbers, we don't get console numbers, and we don't get Ubisoft Connect numbers. So it's very hard to be entirely sure how things are. My major takeaway is that most of the players, like a significant amount, are in gold or below. So that's not a surprise for me with my experience. But what is a surprise for me is the drop off after Platinum going up to Diamond. You can really see that the lower ranks are easier to attain, and then it does get far more difficult once you're into Platinum and above to actually attain those ranks. And like I say, only about 2% of the ranked player base is Diamond, which is quite a small number. I would have thought that would be bigger. And then 1.7 is relatively where I thought champions would be. And of course, with the numbers we've got, that's 10 times more than there was in the previous season. So it shows that only 1.7% is champions. Next season, they're planning to do a little tweak to the system. So I assume that that champion number is going to significantly go down. I don't know if it'll go back down that 10x as before, but it really wouldn't surprise me if it ends up actually being halved. But anyway guys, let me know what you think of this data in the comments below and your own conclusions from this. And where do you actually sit in the previous season when it comes to your final rank?